Hi everyone, welcome back for my Halloween card series for 2011. Today we're going to be making a miniature easel card. I was inspired to do this by the stamp set that I'm using, which is by Lawn Fawn. Here I am cutting my cardstock to 3.5 inches by 7 inches. And then I'm going to score it in half at 3.5. And then I'm going to also score the front panel in half again, so that'll be at 1 3/4 inches. You can adjust the size for any card. Basically you just fold it in half and then fold the front panel in half again. But like I said, I was inspired to do a miniature version because of the stamps that I'll be using. So I'm just gonna burnish those edges down with my bone folder real quick here, and that makes our base for our card. And then I've cut a scallop square using my Nestabilities die, and this is the second to largest square in the thing. I'm also using the Spookville 6x6 paper pad, and I chose this kind of starry night paper, and it just layers perfectly on the scallop square. And this is going to be the front of my card, so I'm just going to adhere those together. I had thrown a couple stamps on top of my ATG there that I wanted to use, so I just had to take those off real quick, but you'll have to excuse the mess on my desk. I didn't realize until after I had filmed that I wasn't zoomed in enough to hide the mess, but I'm sure you all can relate to having messy desks. Anyways, I like to call it creative clutter. Here's the image that I chose. This is the house and ghost from the Lawn Fawn Happy Hauntings stamp set. You can see what the set looks like here. So I've stamped and colored that little house off screen because, again, I haven't quite figured out how to fast forward with my video editing software. So that's going to go on the front, and I wanted to stamp the little fence that's also in the stamp set kind of behind the house, just to add a little more interest. So I'm grabbing that right now, and I put the house down just to kind of give myself an idea of where this fence is going to go. I am going to grab a pencil and mark where the bottom of the house sits so that I can stamp it correctly. Just ink it up real quick again, just for good measure, and then go ahead and stamp it down straight onto the paper. Have to excuse my head in there. Again, I just didn't zoom in enough. So there's that. And then now I can go ahead and put my house back down. I dropped my ink pad right on my desk. I tend to do that a lot. I wanted to show you here, I stamped the house twice, and I cut out the porch part on the second piece and just layered it on top, just to kind of give it some dimension, to kind of look like the porch is coming out at you like it would on a real house. So I just wanted to show that to you, because I know it's kind of hard to see in pictures. So I'm just sticking that straight down there, and that's that for the front of the card. It's pretty simple. I didn't like how the fence looked like it was kind of floating in the air. So I just grabbed my Copic multi-liner. This is the 0.05, and I still had to go over a couple of times to make it the same thickness as the stamp. But I just drew a line down at the bottom of the fence just to kind of ground it a little bit more so it didn't look like it was floating. So that's pretty simple. And that'll just go right on this front panel. And you want to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down, but you want to make sure that you only adhere that bottom piece, because when you close the card, you don't want it to stick to that back back front panel, I guess is what you'd call it, when you close it. So just adhere that bottom part. so that it stands up nicely. And then I've chosen this blue paper because the star paper that I chose had a lot of blue and the kind of grayish white that's in the collection. So I wanted to coordinate that, so I chose this blue paper, and I'm cutting it to 3¼ by 3¼ and that will give me a nice border, a black border along that. It just looks a little more finished that way. So I'll just go ahead and adhere that down. Okay. And then I'm going to need another piece that I can pop up on dimensionals to put my sentiment on as well. And I hadn't quite decided what I wanted to use for that, so I'm kind of flipping through. I found this paper that has all these different sentiments and like little tags and things on them, but none of them really went with what I was going for. So again, just kind of flipping through and deciding what I want to do. I need it to be light enough so that I can stamp the sentiment and you can still see it. So I couldn't use any of the crazy patterns that are in here, even though I love them so much. So I decided to go with some more of the same Starry Night purple paper. And I had originally cut this to, I think, 2½ by 2½, I think. I'm not positive. I ended up cutting it down a little more because it just wasn't working. There wasn't a good enough angle on the card for it to stand up properly. So I ended up having to change it here in a minute, but I'm just going along as if I wasn't thinking. So I'm inking the edges with some black ink, and then I'm going to stamp the Happy Haunting stamp from the same set on here. I just love this whole set. It's super, super cute. I love the font of the sentiments and just everything. It's really cutesy, and that's really my style when it comes to Halloween stuff, is very cutesy. So I just stamped that on there. And then I went ahead and I got my foam tape out and everything, and just started cutting it and putting it on the back. I don't know, I honestly don't know what I was thinking, why I was thinking this was gonna work. But whatever. You guys get to watch me make mistakes. I make them all the time, so I think it's funny to watch myself make mistakes. And you all can get a kick out of it too. So I'm gonna actually stick this thing down, and I guess I have to just figure it out on my own. We all have those days. So I stuck it down and it looked really cute and I was happy with it, but that little thing just kept popping up. There was no work in that. I guess I probably could have made it work, but I was able to fix it before I did anything else. So thankfully this foam tape that I used is very forgiving, and I was able to peel it up without it ripping my paper or anything like that, so that was nice. And then I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want to cut it now. I grabbed my Cutter Bee scissors. I just got these last week, and I was actually really surprised at how easily it cut through the foam tape, because normally with my other scissors they kept getting stuck and it was a pain to cut through foam tape or anything like that. So these are really super nice. I definitely recommend them if you're in the market for any scissors. So I'm just going to stick that down real quick. And I still had a little bit of an issue, but I just needed to kind of push those folds down a little bit more to make it stay. So there you can see it kind of just stands just like that. And then I wanted to add a little something else to the sentiment down below, so I grabbed a little bat from the stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp this. If I had thought of it sooner, I would have stamped it before I put the foam tape on, but it came out looking just fine. So I just stuck that little bat guy there. And that is the card for today. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys will maybe try this out. You can see here that it folds down pretty flat, so you could send it in the mail, it wouldn't be a problem. And then the recipient can just stand it up on their shelf or something as a little decoration at the same time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!